Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about baby teeth, retained baby molars. And should you bracket them? Should you not in straight wire? Should you even be choosing braces, or should you choose aligners or Invisalign? And of course, 20 years ago, we didn't have the other option. So whenever we got these, it was such a pain. Um, in general, ultimately, the question I'm going to ask, if I'm the orthodontist and if there's a general dentist and there's a parent, is we're going to pull them all in and say, well, what's the ultimate goal here? What's the long term prognosis? What's the outcome of this tooth? Are we going to keep this tooth in? Are we going to eventually pull this tooth out? Do we plan to close the space? I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to take into account, and a lot of it has to do with the bite and the profile. So we can't just tell from this picture right here, what the plan is here. Of course, I'm going to look at the teeth, look at the roots. If it's something where I wanted to keep it, for as long as possible, and there's never any guarantees, but I can tell you my mom is 72. I don't know if she's listening to these or not, probably not, but she still has hers. I think she lost, I don't know if she had 2 or 4 retained. Obviously, it runs in families, but I know she still has some, and she's in her 70s. So, no sense pull them out if you don't need to. Remember, this is a bigger tooth than its successor, the premolar, so it does kind of affect the bite and the midlines, and things won't ever be quite on. You'll have a Bolton discrepancy with more tooth mass on the bottom than on the top, so it's going to affect the bite a little bit. Sometimes I'll disc the sides a little bit, but ultimately the more you mess with this tooth to try to get it to fit in, and the more the roots aren't going to be too happy, so the less you mess with it, if you put a bracket on it, basically what I'm trying to say, it's less likely it's going to survive. So ultimately, if I want to try to keep this bracket this tooth for as long as possible, and perhaps for a lifetime, there's always a chance, I'm going to want to keep it clean and healthy and not loaded at all with braces. So hopefully that answers your question. If we're just trying to keep it till the end of treatment so we can place an implant later, sure, then I'll load it with braces. I don't care. Then if I need to move it, I need to move it. But of course, if you're not loading it with braces, then you can't move it. So you can't do a lot of things here. You can't change the AP, you can't change the transverse, you can't expand the arches, because if that tooth has locked, then the other teeth are locked too. So I think it's 100 times easier to do cases like this with Invisalign, because you can just easily prescribe no movement on that tooth. It's not like in braces, you have a bracket here and you have a bracket here, and then you have a long span and it flexes and it bends and it breaks and it's a pain. So usually what I'll do is I will, with the span initially, especially when you're in lighter wires, is I'll put a piece of closed coil spring or comfort tubing over this space, trim just to the right size so it won't flex as much. And then I'll also flame the wire at the end and cinch it intraorally so that it won't pull out. That's just kind of my go-to move. Takes a little bit longer, but works well. And then obviously when you get up to heavier wires, that's not necessary. So anyway, so just think about the plan. What's the long-term plan? What's the long-term prognosis? How are the roots looking? And of course, you want to monitor periodically with progress x-rays just to make sure the tooth is surviving. If the tooth needs to come out, has decay, or something like that, well, then that might change your treatment plan. All right, thanks so much.